Good morning, afternoon, and evening to our viewers today. Thank you for joining us for our webinar, 5 Keys to Success in Managed Backup Services. Joining us is Eugene Rudinsky, Solution Architect with CloudBerry Lab. Also joining us today is Frank Turner, Senior Solutions Architect at Cloudian. Welcome, everyone. Before we begin, I wanted to point out to the audience that we will be taking questions at the end of the webinar, so please go ahead and enter any questions that arise in the question box at the side of your screen. With that, I will hand it over to Eugene.
Thanks, Laura, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm really happy to run this webinar together with Cloudian team. And so what we're going to be talking about today is the way how Cloudian works together with Cloudberry. I'm not sure if I can control the screens. Yeah, I can do that. Okay, so before we start talking about the products and solutions that we have prepared for you today, just want to highlight a few things about Cloudberry. So first of all, we are a software company. So for those of you who are here for the first time and haven't heard anything about Cloudberry, so we are a growing software company with primarily focus on SMB and mid-sized market. We have over 300,000 active users using our different products. So I will highlight all the products that we have available today, and all these products are compatible and applicable to Cloudian solutions that my colleague Frank will talk later today. We also one of the major priority for us since 2011 is managed service providers. So essentially, we are focused on service providers that are offering different services for their customers, or it can be absolutely the same for IT departments. So the products are applicable to IT departments when they have similar challenges, like a backup solution for their infrastructure, for their consumers, employers. And saying that, we are right now at the point where we have more than 5,000 active managed service providers, and this is actually related to MBS, or Managed Backup Solution, or Managed Backup Service, which we started to offer since 2011. And again, we have more than 5,000 customers, active partners, active providers using that product, using that service. Another thing I really want to highlight as well, as we are, the company who are mostly focused on backup and data recovery, challenges, and also there are tools for file management. We count the numbers, and we count the traffic that we actually process over our products, I mean, from the customer perspective. And this year we see that all over our products, we see more than 100 petabytes, actually more than 100 petabytes data has been processed over our products. And this is great achievement, I think, and this is something that you can count on when you try to select the right product for your own usage. So I'm going to move to the technical things right now. So what we have today available for you. So the first one, and the really first product that we started back in the past in 2008 was the product specifically designed for file management. So it's quite famous, popular. You've probably seen that product. It's called Cloudberry Explore. Initially, that product was created for Amazon, and then as Amazon provides S3 API, so we actually expanded support of S3 API to all S3 compatible platforms, including Cloudian. And that's what we're talking about today. And I believe that Frank will highlight all the key benefits and why their platforms are the best in the world. So the Explorer File Manager, right, is the product which helps you to copy data across from your computer to the cloud, or vice versa. You can also do the same between clouds. For example, you have 2 buckets and you just want to make cross buckets data copy, or it can be even cross-provider, just in case if you want to migrate your data from another provider, like if I can highlight, like for example Amazon or Microsoft Azure to Cloudian, or again vice versa, you can use that product, and it's just simple, like you can use just a embedded interface of Windows platform. So you'll be able to see that product today. I'll show you. So within that product, there are all major things and all major details that you may want to have on board with the file manager. So essentially, we do support all these key things like multi-part upload, multi-threading, encryption plus compression. Obviously, you need to protect your data. You need to adjust the file sizes of your data that you're trying to upload to the cloud. So we do support all the things. And the final really key thing is the e-discovery. So essentially, if you want to find out the object, there is actually support within product to get that object exactly and get path to the object. So it's all about the file management. So let's move on and talk about the next one. So we see lots of activities from the Cloudian customers and customers using the Cloudian platform. Is the request sounds like we see product which is called Carberry Drive, and we see its great opportunity from the technical perspective. So essentially, what we have Cloudberry Drive. So that's the other product that I want to highlight, and I call it actually endless disk. So what I mean by that, I mean like what you can do, you can map your Cloudian infrastructure, you can map your Cloudian data store, your object storage to your Windows computer, and you can actually map it to a certain drive, and you can, anytime you want to get access to your files, or anytime you want to upload your files to Cloudian from Windows, you can do that easily by just going to your computer, finding out the certain drive, and that's actually drive that is mapped to your Cloudian facilities, and you'll see that also today. So the flagship product, we're actually getting closer to the key product that we have. Again, so the file management and the workflow of your files and folders is great, but the backup solution has been key for forever for any IT department, for any service provider, just because you want to protect your data, you don't really want to lose that data, you want to get access to that data anytime when you need on demand. So so that's why we have the flagship product from our company, part all this what I mentioned is the backup. So Carberry Backup is available for any platform. So we started initially support of Windows, but we later moved to Linux and Mac. So I call it definitely a multi-platform product with support of all these major operating systems today. And so what I really want to highlight within that product is that it's compatible with for example, in Windows product we have different options, different types of backups that you can work with. So we started initially with just simple file level backup, where you can set up your files or folders, and you can just offload that information to the cloud, and all these relevant features like compression, encryption, can be applied to any backup plan. So the other one is image-based backup. When you actually want to protect your volumes, and backups of those volumes can be restored anytime, anywhere. So you can drill down into backups of your volumes, and you can get access to a certain file or set of files within that backup set, and you can restore it anytime. And that's really essential. But image-based backup can be restored as as we have volumes inside, so we can restore those volumes to the dissimilar hardware. So it's just a quick example: you get a computer, and that computer, like corrupted, or the volumes on that computer corrupted, or the computer is no longer available. So what we can do from those image-based backup, we can just get the data, retrieve them, and push them to a new computer. So essentially, it's a dissimilar hardware restore. And one more thing that we introduced earlier last year, so is actually the ability to work with cloud providers. We talk about Cloudian today, but I want to highlight because there is no compute things available from Cloudian, as far as I know. But for your image-based backup can be restored as Azure virtual machine or AWS EC2 instance, and we will later introduce the Google support, as well as the VMware platforms like VMware and Hyper-V. So all this possible with image-based backup. So you can consider disaster recovery strategy with us when you have backups available and when you want to protect your mission-critical applications, mission-critical computers with that image-based backup, restoring that to certain cloud or to another virtualization platform. So let's move on. So a couple of things about applications that we support today. Also, we know that there are a lot of Exchange mail servers as well as SQL service. And we recently introduced specific agents for those applications. So for both, we actually follow all the best practices from Microsoft point of view. So we leverage Microsoft VSS integration. So there will be transactionally consistent backup for sure. And for both platforms, for both applications, we can configure different retention policies and strategies, like it can be full backup or differential, etc., etc. So it's all there. And one more thing that I really want to highlight, just in case if you run Exchange server, we also, earlier this year, in Q4 2016, we introduced item level restore for Exchange. So if there is need to deliver missing items to a certain employer from the backup of the mailbox, so there is no problem for us. We can just drill down into the backup, which sits on the Cloudian storage, and we can just recognize certain mailbox and certain selected items by administrator. So it's just a granular item level restore for Exchange. Try it out just in case if you run Exchange mail server. Mac platform. So since Mac computers are also popular among with Windows computers, so we have specific agents for Mac operating system. I haven't updated that. I know, so it's there. So Mac operating Sierra, which is the latest one, so macOS is actually supported. So feel free to test it out. It's just a very simple agent. And so you just put it to your computer, set up the backup plans, and you're ready to go. One more thing that I want to highlight, in order to make the backup process faster, we introduced multi-thread and multi-chunk support. So what it means, it actually means that when we back up a large file, so this large file is being separated into small chunks. So in the object storage technology industry, there is a term like chunk, and that object is being separated into small chunks, and we actually upload that object in parallel using multiple chunks, and it just makes the entire upload faster. And that's one of the last thing that we introduced earlier. Yeah, let's move on. So for Linux operating system, so there is also a product like agent available for Linux. Even if you don't have interface like GNOME or or KDE or any other thing that you use for visualizing your Linux operating system. So we offer, as well as for Mac, by the way, we offer very flexible command line interface, and on that screen you actually can see the background with all available command lines. So you can set up the backup plan for certain folders, for certain files, and you can define where the backup should go, to which bucket, and what settings you want to apply, what kind of retention policy you want to apply on top of that backup, and so on and so forth. So it's just an example of the other backup product that we have. So let's move on. I mentioned, so at the beginning, I was talking about our strategy and highlighted the the key years for us. So like in 2011, we introduced Managed Backup Service, or in short, MBS. So what is that? So MBS essentially is just a web interface in the internet. It's available for everyone. To get registered and MBS, you just need to go cloudberrylab.com/MBS, and it's a portal for service providers, and it's also absolutely applicable, I believe, to IT organizations. So if you have backup challenge, if you need to back up your computers, and if you want to get everything in one place, if you want to manage everything in one place, so MBS is actually the way to go. So what I want to highlight in that product is that it's compatible again with all available products that we just discussed: Windows, Linux, Mac. There is also Synology and QNAP box support. It's just a native applications that you put on top of your NAS box, and you just set up the plan, and it's ready to go. And there is also a virtual machine edition, which is compatible with VMware and Hyper-V platform, just in case if you want to offload your virtual machines to Cloudian storage. If you want to keep your backups of virtual machines in Cloudian storage, so virtual machine edition is the way to go. So another key things about MBS. So you manage everything, right? So I said that it's just a single place to go. You manage your storage accounts. What I mean by that is you may have multiple buckets, for different reasons, for different purpose. Like you want to back up, certain retention policy to first bucket, and the other one, like long-term retention policy, to the other one, just because the backend of the Cloudian is configured differently. Like it's more reliable, for example, for different retention policy, or less expensive from the backend standpoint of view, and et cetera, et cetera. So you can do that, everything. You can do that from web interface. And so license management, users management, the product builds management, and as well as the billing reports and different other things, you can actually do everything right in MBS. Yeah, I think I just want to pass over to Frank. So Frank, it's all yours.
All right, thank you, Eugene. We're pulling back the keyboard and mouse now so I can continue the presentation. But my name's Frank Turner. I'm a solution architect at Cloudian, and first thing I would like to do is introduce our product, which is a on-premise cloud storage platform. The image you see on the screen is actually one of our appliances, and we have a appliance deployment model. We also have a software-only deployment model. We are a completely software-defined storage product, and we can transparently tier out to the public cloud, whether it's AWS or Google Cloud Platform. This platform is an ideal solution for scalability. You can start small with just a few servers, and you can transparently and easily grow to tens or hundreds of petabytes. We have durable storage policies to protect object data and metadata within the platform, and it's a grow as you need type of platform. So we build this to be a simple, scalable, durable platform for object storage. The other part to it is we have a fully S3 compliant interface, and it's 100% compliant to Amazon S3. It's not a connector, it's a native interface. And so it allows us to leverage partners like Cloudberry for access and ease of use. So let me tell you a little bit about Cloudian. Our legacy is as a company called Gemini Mobile, which was a wireless messaging service from as early as 2001, and we still have customers that are leveraging our messaging products. But as a company, Gemini Mobile saw the changing environment and the need to change the business model. And in 2011, we launched what we call Cloudian's Hyperstore product, which is a S3 native object store designed for scale out, designed for data that customers and enterprises want to keep on premise and not put out or potentially expose in the public cloud, but with the ability to transparently create a hybrid cloud leveraging AWS or GCP. So Hyperstore is a multi-tenanted S3 object store. It's based on commodity servers, so we don't have proprietary hardware anywhere in the system. We can support a single data center, multi-data center, and multi-region deployment, so we can geographically disperse our cluster into customer data centers as you see fit. We can create storage policies for either replicas or erasure coding that suit the criticality and the protection needed for that data. And we can also define distribution of that data. So, for example, if you want access to an object or set of objects from a single data center, you can create a bucket that's local to that data center. If you want to distribute that data to multiple data centers, you can create a storage policy that includes multiple data centers, and it could be a portion or subset of those data centers that you have just where you want that data to reside. We can grow our cluster asynchronously among data centers, so you don't need to keep everything in lockstep. You don't need to expand all your data centers in the same capacity model. And on top of that, we have the S3 applications that access S3, NFS, and SMB. So we support S3 natively. We also have gateways that support file protocol. So all these features are packaged into our multi-tenant object storage system. We leverage NoSQL, Cassandra database underneath the covers for distribution of metadata. We support private, public, and hybrid clouds. And we can provide the high throughput that you would expect for an archive tier when you're storing large objects in our, again, I'm going to come back to our S3 compliance. We support multi-part uploads and things that Amazon has developed to improve performance within an object store and transactions to an object store. Part of our multi-tenant capability includes quality of service, access controls, and reporting and billing. These features are built in, not a bolt-on, so that they're integrated from day one to give a full-featured multi-tenant object store that can be used by MSPs as a storage as a service or a platform as a service. And the ease of scaling and high availability are the things you expect and require from an enterprise class storage solution. So why is on-premise storage important? There's several aspects to having storage sitting next to your applications. One is performance. You can set up the right networking to provide bandwidth into the cluster. You have the additional physical security of having that data within your data centers and can control that. We also support HTTPS for encryption in flight and AES 256 for encrypted data at rest. We support compliance with HIPAA and other regulatory aspects of data which require a secure storage platform. And then the cost of access, going to a public cloud, you incur additional costs when you have a high transaction workload. When you have that within your own data center, you don't incur that additional cost. And the ability to tier out to a public cloud allows you to place data that isn't accessed frequently or is at the end of its life cycle in a low-cost public tier, and you're able to control both your on-premise implementation in terms of how much space it's taking, and you control your public cloud subscription fees because you're pretty much only being charged for the placement of data. You don't incur the additional charges for that transaction to access that data because it's gone cold. So the challenge of multiple storage environments to manage is taken over and taken away from your burden by Cloudian Hyperstore. So our feature sets, I'll just go over a couple again and add some more. 100% native Amazon S3 API. We guarantee that any S3 application in the Amazon ecosystem works transparently on Cloudian. Multi-tenancy, QoS, and billing. These are the features that you need to not only do billing and reporting, but to manage and control your storage in terms of monitoring, identifying growth, and restricting power users from taking over the system and impacting the entire system. Policy-based data protection for durability, distribution of data, and access. Policy-based tiering, so you can control your on-premise versus your public cloud placement of data. And you can do this separately within the cluster. You can have some buckets that are strictly controlled within your data center on Cloudian Hyperstore, and other buckets that have a tiering policy that, as they age, put data out into the public cloud. Flexible deployment options. We can be deployed as a software-defined storage. We have appliance models, and we can support heterogeneous servers within the cluster. So if you deploy a cluster now and you need to grow it in a year, and Intel has come out with a faster processor, or disk drives are now 16 terabyte instead of 8 to 10 terabyte, you don't have a problem with installing that new technology into a Cloudian Hyperstore and just using it. We're integrating search and data analytics. We can now be seen as a Hadoop file system, and we're integrating Spark on board the cluster nodes so that we will have an integrated capability for search and metadata analytics, as well as object analytics, in place within the cluster. And one system for file and objects. We have a file gateway called Hyperstore Connect for Files that will convert file protocol into the object space and leverage the object store for file transactions. So these are the benefits we see in our partnership with Cloudberry. Simplified management, both of your backups and your storage environment. Control over data location and protection with the ability to tier out cold data to a public cost-effective tier while maintaining a local tier for ease of access, performance, and transactional workloads. Scalability and long-term durability of data with improved performance because it's local, and accessibility because as an owner-operator of the object storage, you can define the accessibility constraints. Also, ease of monitoring with the reporting tools that we have and the analytics, and provisioning. We have non-disruptive addition of nodes into the cluster, so provisioning becomes simple and easy without disruption to the customers using the object store, and cost-effective. It's a commodity-based platform. We don't require any proprietary hardware to create it, and so it becomes just a factor of getting commodity class servers with the highest amount of capacity, or the right amount of capacity that you want within the cluster. So now I think we're ready for a quick demo. We're going to turn this back over to Eugene so that he can provide a demo of the Cloudberry products. Eugene, can you share your screen? Are you seeing the perfect?
Absolutely. Yeah. So Frank, thank you very much. That was really informative. And just want to confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Excellent. So with that said, so we actually discussed the managed backup service, and later Frank been talking about the Cloudian benefits and durable system, and highlights all the key benefits. So my part will be demoing the product, and I want to start with MBS backup service, managed backup service, sorry, which is MBS. Again, like I said last time, it's a web interface where you go just over your web browser using mbs.cloudberrylab.com, and then you just provide your credentials. Let's just get there. To get registered and to become MBS partner, you can do by just using the cloudberrylab.com and service providers free sign up, just in case if you want to try it out. Okay, so we are in MBS portal, so that's the portal for provider. We actually can work with different roles. We can delegate and set different permissions to a certain member of our IT team, so that member will see more or less things here. So what I want to start with is the storage configuration. So MBS essentially, again, is the single place to go where you manage your backup challenges, and Cloudian is the storage backend here. So I mean, storage can be storage backend here, since we do support multiple providers, over 50, but we talk about Cloudian today. So there we go, that's the Cloudian icon here. So we just need to configure our Cloudian storage entity within MBS, and we're good to go. I just want to show you my existing configuration. So that's my Cloudian configuration with a certain access key. And what I can start to do, I can start to add destinations to for all my backup challenges. Again, it can be a certain bucket for a certain user, or it can be certain bucket for certain retention policy of certain user. And I can actually manage that right from the web interface. So the bucket will be created within Cloudian facilities, and we can start to offload data to that bucket. So right now we have 3 buckets, and we actually set up 2 accounts here. So the next thing that I want to highlight is actually users management. Again, so MBS is a single place to go, keep in mind. And when we talk about users, we actually talk about user which is linked to certain software build, and that user can have certain configurations. It can be with certain storage limit, it can be with certain bucket attached, or even multiple buckets, and we can actually set up all the backup plans accordingly. So this user is set up to, and has 2 destinations, 2 buckets, Cloudberry Lab and Cloudberry Lab MBS. So these 2 buckets can be used for by the user for getting access to, for backing up data to Cloudian. So take a look at the screen. So that's my backup agent where we can have all these buttons and settings available. As my computer owner, I can do the management right from the agent, or as provider, I can actually do that remotely by using remote management tab. And let's just quickly jump into that tab here, take a look at the computer. So that's my user, and as you can see, it's blue, means that it's active, so rest of other are not active. And if we just go into show plans, we're going to see all plans that we have recently configured. And if you take a look at that, so we have 4 plans here, 4 plans here, plus 1 is just consistency system check, just to make sure that we have everything backed up correctly and we verify this information in the cloud storage. So again, all the basic, or I would say even advanced management things are here. We can configure, we can start the backup plan, we can clone the backup plan, we can set up the restore plan as well. We can check even the we can check even the content of the certain bucket, and we can just launch the restore right from there. So let's just jump into Windows infrastructure once again. Again, we saw that agent where we have, recently the backup plan set up. So we can just launch the simple backup plan with a single file in it. So let's just run it. So that's going to be backup of single file, and that file is actually going to my Cloudian MBS bucket. And as you can see, the provider, the storage is actually called the way I name it in my MBS platform. So if you try to remember Cloudberry Lab, Cloudian MBS, if you go back to the MBS web interface, we're going to see absolutely the same name in the storage section. So the account name is Cloudberry Lab Cloudian MBS, and that's the bucket name. So the backup has been finished successfully. Now we should have the file in Cloudian, and let's just try to restore that file from there. We actually can do differently. If you go to the storage and refresh that storage, we can expand. And so that's my account, which is linked to one of the buckets within Cloudian infrastructure. And within that bucket, we have this particular structure and single file that we just backed up. And again, if we make a right click, if we click restore, so that's going to launch the restore wizard where we set up all what we need. We can select the version. We can define, so it's actually defined just in case if you want to add some more files to that restore plan, you can do that. And then you can define where the data should go. So right now we want to put it somewhere else. I don't really want to put it back to the original location. Instead, I want to put it to my desktop computer. Sorry, to my desktop. So I just want to delete that one. So that's alt restore. If we just do that, yeah. And if we just go through all of the steps in that restore wizard, we're going to see that restore is now doing something. It's actually getting my file from Cloudian infrastructure and delivering that file to my desktop. And if we take a look, so there we go. So that's my picture. It's been backed up recently, and now it's restored back to my computer, and I can take a look and see, okay, so the content is here. I wanted to highlight some other things that we have. Again, one of the products I've been talking about at the beginning is the Cloudberry Explore. And it's really essential product when you work with objects and files in your infrastructure. Again, take a look at the screen. You have interface on the screen right now. So so first of all, we just need to add the account. I've done that recently. So that's my Cloudian. That's my Cloudian setup. Again, the endpoint, the access key, secret key. We can test the connection, see the connection successful. And we can start to manage the objects within buckets in my Cloudian infrastructure. So right now we have 3 buckets here. And again, so this Cloudberry Backup MBS, Cloudberry Lab MBS bucket was used by my backup products, and that's the content that I have right now. So I have my Windows computer, C folder, users, administrator, desktop, and that's the folder that actually contains the timestamp of that file. And right there, I have my file. And even more, right from here, I can just copy and paste that file. Let's just do that back to my administrator, to my desktop. Let's just delete that file first. Yeah, it's gone now, and we're gonna restore that file again from Cloudberry Lab MBS bucket, right from the Cloudian facilities to my desktop computer, and to the desktop folder. And there you go, it's here. Oop. Yeah, it just doesn't support the preview, but if we go here, if we just launch the file, so there we go, it's here. Even if the file compressed to encrypted, we can set all the settings here, right in the Cloudberry Explorer for making this decryption and uncompression on fly, so we can get the content as is right from the bucket, even if it's been encrypted and compressed by Cloudberry Backup. And one more thing, which is, again, we see really big interest in Cloudian community, and we think this is also a great product to all Windows users. So it's called Cloudberry Drive, where you can map certain bucket to your computer, and you can get access to the content of that bucket right from your computer. If you go to your PC, so you're going to have G Drive, which is mounted, and in fact, it's my Cloudian bucket with data that we already seen. So it's my MBS structure, and again, if you go to the computer with Windows Backup, we just can, drill down into the file itself, and we can even execute it right from here. So this is kind of endless disk, so it can be mounted, and you can work with the content of that disk right from your computer. Yeah, it's not that fast, just because there is Atlantic Ocean between us. I'm based in Europe, where Frank, I believe, is based in US in States. So that's why it's not that fast, but still it works, and I can get my file here even previewed right from the bucket, which is mapped to my computer. I think I still have a few minutes, and just want to show you quickly new interface, not really new interface, but recently introduced Mac edition. Again, just because we started with Windows support for over I believe, like 7 or even 8 years. And so Mac is just a few years in development, but still the interface looks like that. And we can work with different setups here. Again, we can see the accounts, the Cloudian accounts here. So we have them here. And we can set up the backup plans right away. So we can just define that we want to go to this bucket. We want to name that plan accordingly. We want to pick up certain data actually picked up already. And then we can work with different settings for our particular backup set. Can be encrypted, compressed backup. We use industrial standards like advanced encryption standards. Like one of these you can select. And yeah, if we just go through all the steps in the backup plan, we can just save it, and then we can just run it. Similar way like we see in Windows environment, and so the file should be in my Cloudian infrastructure for now. So if I just go back to my drive, which is my mapped buckets of Cloudian, so I can go to Mac user, CBL, Cloudberry, and within that Cloudberry, I have something. Yeah, there we go. So that's my file. Essentially, it's a file, and the related structure, which is the way we write data, just in case, just to get the access to this data when needed. So it's just the way Cloudberry works. And now if we just go back to the Mac version, so what we want to do, we want to quickly set up the restart plan just to get that file back. And so I want to work with latest version. So I want to put it back to my computer, but instead of a regional location, I want to put it to my desktop folder. So that's going to be my destination for the backup file. So just really, really default settings, but as you can see, there are many other settings that they want to play with. And so the plan is ready. And if we launch the plan, so that's going to be a restart process of 1 megabyte data. There you go. So that's my file here. And it's just a text document. And as you can see, there is preview, means that file is ready to use. So we just restart that file from the backup. So that's it really from my side. So hopefully that was useful, and you highlighted something for your backup challenges. Again, just to wrap up, we have multi-platform backup solution available for Windows, Linux, and Mac. We have Drive, which is the way to map your Cloudian bucket to to your computer. We have Explore, which is the way to manage your files between clouds or between local computer and the cloud.
Great, thank you, Eugene. I wanted to continue with a Cloudian demo, and to be honest, this is the way we want to work, and this is the power we see in our platform, which is in the simplicity of use for us with other applications like Cloudberry. So if you come under the user, and I'm doing this from a user account, and it's been too long, so I'm going to have to log back in. Under security credentials, just like with Amazon, you have an access key and you have a secret key, and you have an endpoint. And so if you provide an S3 application like Cloudberry this information, that's all it takes from the application side to access your object store. If you go in from our side as a user and you look, for example, at the Cloudberry ABS, Cloudberry Lab ABS, you can dive down into the same things. Actually, these are objects. You can dive down into the same things that Eugene was just demoing. We've created separate buckets for the backup, and by doing that, you can then report on this user and the usage or the capacity and transactions and other things performed on these buckets the same way that you would see them in a billing report from Amazon. And you can use that to either control and manage your environment, or you can set this up as a multi-tenant storage as a service, and you can actually create billing for the tenants that and users that are operating within the Cloudian. It's not going to be very interesting because we've not had this running for very long, but this is one of the ways that a user can actually check what they're doing. So we'll go back a day, and this is about now, and let's see if we catch anything. So we're actually seeing how we are increasing and monitoring the capacity of this user as we've just been operating with Cloudberry. So it becomes very easy, and I'm going to quickly go in and show you an admin view. Oh, it's going to make me put in my login again. Okay, I'm not going to belabor this. This is operator error, but it makes it very easy to manage the environment. It makes it easy to operate the system and use it. There we go. And it also makes it easy to plan what you're using, what your growth is, what your specific servers within the cluster are doing in terms of storage, services, and also alerts. You can, as I mentioned, you can create storage policies that have single data center, multi-data center, erasure code, replicas, whatever you want, all in the same cluster. So essentially, we're built to scale out, we're built for simplicity, and we're built to protect the data with long-term high durability. And with that, I'm going to hand it back to Laura to close the discussion.
Great. Let me go back here. Please ask any questions if you have them. We have a couple here that have been asked, but if you have any more, please feel free to put them in the question box right now. The first one is asking, it's for Eugene, it's asking about IBB. You had that on your backup for Windows slide. Can you tell us a little bit more about IBB?
Yeah, thanks, Laura. So I really apologize for that short term. So essentially, I was thinking, that was actually image-based backup, so IBB. So that's just abbreviation, just to make it short. And the image-based backup is the way to back up your volumes, and it works using the VSS integration. So essentially, there will be snapshot taken for for a certain volume, and then we're just gonna take the entire content of the volume and deliver that information to the Cloudian bucket. And from having IBB backup, you can just restore to anything you want, even like to the dissimilar hardware or to one of the cloud provider like EC2 or Azure or virtual platforms like VMware or Hyper-V. If you want to get more, just get in touch. You have contact details right on screen, and I'll be happy to give you more details. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Eugene. So we have a question here for Frank. We use Cloudberry to store various objects files on different cloud storage platforms. Why would I use Cloudian? I see it as competing products.
So Cloudian can compete favorably with the public cloud, but the real reason that Cloudian exists and the value for Cloudian is for data that you don't want to put into the public cloud, for data that you want to maintain control within your own data center for any number of reasons, which could be low latency, performance, high transactional workload, and there are applications like Hadoop that do not operate well when they're accessing data in a public cloud. So there are reasons and diverse reasons for having a full-featured cloud on site, and at some points we do compete with the public cloud, but to be honest, we have a very close relationship with AWS, and we leverage that relationship to implement things like CRR, cross-region replication, which is a reasonably new feature that AWS introduced, and a Cloudian cluster can actually perform CRR operations to a Amazon S3 region. So we can be seen as competing, but at the same time, we augment the capability of a public cloud. And another way that we can demonstrate this is that we are on the Amazon Marketplace as a tiered storage capability that is part of a subscription service for Amazon AWS, and we become a private cloud presence while tiering out to the S3 public cloud. I hope that answers the question well.
Okay, great. There is a question about Cloudian pricing.
So Cloudian can provide very aggressive pricing and I think actually look favorably between public cloud pricing, but in our appliance models with a 3-year standard agreement for at-scale implementation, we can provide a pricing of about a penny a gigabyte per month.
Okay, great. Another question is, how can I demo Cloudian and Cloudberry myself?
So as you can see on the screen that we have now, you can get a free 45-day trial of Cloudian at the URLs and locations shown. Eugene, do you want to talk about Cloudberries?
Absolutely, Frank. Yes. So similar to Cloudian, we have less days, but we actually can extend them. So 15 days of trials by default. But again, so if you want to feel full power, there is no problem for us to extend the trial even up to 45 days. And again, just follow the links, get in touch with us, and I'll be happy to assist.
Great. Well, thank you, Eugene. Thank you, Frank. That's actually all the time we have for today. If we didn't get to your questions, we'll follow up with you to ensure your question is answered. And feel free, if you didn't get a chance to submit questions, to reach out to Cloudian and CloudBerry Lab to ask those questions. You see the contact information here on the screen. We will have a recording posted, so you'll be able to view this webinar again. Again, thank you for joining us.